What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this is my recap review for Lovecraft Country episode 3. Now, this was a crazy episode. A lot went down in this episode, and I'm going to break it down and give you my review as well as reaction. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give it a Mosco, which is my score that I rate every episode and movie that I do. Now, what the first episode, season 3 first starts off, you see Letty in church and she kind of like real quiet, thinking and praying or whatever. And then it says that it's like 1955 in Chicago on the north side. And the one thing about Lovecraft Country that's great is though, although it is like a supernatural kind of thing going on and special effects, it has real information, real story, real things that happen. And it was showing that although they weren't in the South and they were in Chicago, that segregation was real and that people of color, black people, were kept out of certain neighborhoods and owning certain properties and creating wealth. And so it shows in Lovecraft Country episode 3 that they got a big house. Letty is telling her sister, yeah, gotta hit the number and I'm gonna get you a big house and we gonna have a boarding house. And so she ended up saying that she hit the numbers, got a big house, taking her sister there. They gonna have a boarding house and rent out to people because people of color couldn't stay in certain establishments and things. And so they had to stay in boarding houses and things. And so they were looking forward to it. But the sister like, well, you know what? I don't know. A black couple got ran off the place a few months ago for moving in on the north side. And I don't really want that kind of drama. I'm about to go to Marshall Fields. And Marshall Fields was bought out by Macy's not too long ago, but Marshall Fields was the #1 department store in the world at that time. And so she asked her to move in. Eventually she did, even though she knew about the riots and stuff from a Negro couple that bought a house not too long ago. So while she in there showing her the house and everything, the house was big and nice. It had an elevator. She like, it got an elevator, girl. And she stick her head in there, and then the next thing you know, elevator almost took her head off, like moving real fast down or whatever. She had to move out the way. It was pretty close, so it looked like it may be something going on in this house. Later we see that Uncle George's wife Hippolyta is sitting there with his book and just tearing it up. At first I thought she was auto writing, and if you're not familiar with that, that's like in a way you can kind of be somewhat out of body experience or some type of possessed in a way, but be writing stuff without realizing what you're writing. And I thought that's what she was doing at first, but she was actually tearing up the pages. And I don't know, she was just in like a blank stare. So I didn't know what exactly was going on. And they didn't really address it at that moment. So when they go into the kitchen, Tig, he over there making eggs and stuff. And then they all kind of getting adjusted to that missing seat at the dinner table. Even Uncle Joe's daughter had to get used to it for a second. And we then find out, Tick telling him the publisher's looking for the guy, this and that. And he feeling like he overstayed his welcome. And he in the way a little bit and stuff. But he's been trying to help out. And we see that it's been a few weeks that they've been back since and Uncle George's funeral and stuff. So he went and talked to his dad. His dad half drunk on the floor. He get it by a cup of water, splash it on him. And his dad is Michael K. Williams. So he get up, they talking or whatever. And then he was just saying basically about how his dad, because his dad was mumbling some type of story, and he was like, yeah, Uncle George told that story about when that stranger came swinging the bat like Jackie Robinson. We sure could have used him out there in autumn. And so he like, yeah, well, it is what it is. So he need a place to stay because he don't want to be, burden on, Hippolyta, Uncle George's wife. And so he Pop said he could stay for a few days. And then he was saying, I feel weird not telling him what happened to Uncle George. He like, what you mean? We told him that sheriff shot him and we had the funeral in the story. And he like, man, I just don't feel right. We should tell her. He like, what's she gonna do? Huh? What, you gonna tell her that monsters is alive, huh? And so, it was interesting. He basically talked Tick out of saying nothing, and he got mad, slammed his hand on the table or whatever. They leave it alone. So, it is what it is. They got a story that they told her that the sheriff killed him. And so we'll see if Tick, he kind of want to tell the truth. But I mean, would she believe it? I mean, that is a hell of a story. So anyway, we see that Letty is moving into her new crib. She got piano coming in, all kind of people coming in and out. And Tick come over there and he's like, "Yeah, I was looking for you." She like, "Oh, I ain't seen you in a few." That's what's up. He's like, "Hey, I see you at a nice place. Hit the number move in on the Sunday where everybody at church. They had to move in on the Sunday because people would have been protesting and doing all kinds of stuff while they trying to move in." And he basically said that he ain't seen it since the funeral for Uncle George 3 weeks ago. And so he was saying to her that he was about to go back to Florida. It seemed like she was a little sad. She wanted him to stay, but it seemed like he was about to go until you hear all these horns blowing. And then we see that it's a bunch of white guys and they didn't tape a brick to their horn of their car and blow excessively, trying to basically make it uncomfortable for them. And even the cops roll by, see what's going on, and they just smile and kept going. So they had no recourse. The police was no help. And so next thing you know, you see a white community sign post in their yard talking about this is a white community, undesirables, which basically meant no black folks. And then we see that while she's sleeping in the bed, a ghost yanked the covers off. It's some old ghost with no mouth, ghost. And she didn't see it, but then the boiler is real hot. And so she hop up and go downstairs. The boiler about to blow. She trying to fix the boiler, hear a loud bang in the basement. And then she go and see this secret room in the back. And it was like some little wooden cellar door lifting up and stuff. She got scared, ran down there and ran out of there. So next thing you know, we see her back with Dick, and they going down there, and it's like deep in this dark room with no sunlight. And she like, "Well, ain't nothing in here." You say, "Well, I don't blame you. We did go through a lot, and we going through a lot now. They using excessive heat and loud noise. That's the tactics we use in Korea." And so he's like, "You know what, though? This room would be a good dark room for your camera because there's no light in there. And when people do certain seances and different rituals, they want a room where no sunlight has been in. And that room was it. Now, the whole time this episode been going on, it's been counting down the days. So now we on like day 8. And it was a housewarming party. And you could hear people talking about Martin Luther King, talking about, "Yeah, you heard about that new Martin? Yeah, he was married to a white woman and engaged." And then they say, "Well, now he got him a colored woman and he going by the name of Martin now." And so basically, because he was Michael, a lot of people don't know Martin Luther King was actually going by the name Michael and was engaged to a white woman in real life before he got with Coretta Scott King. This is true. And I like how they put out a lot of truth in the episodes and information. And so, that was interesting. A lot of people may not pick up on that or know who they was talking about, but again, you can always Google and look for yourself. Martin Luther King was with a white woman before he got with Coretta Scott King, and he wanted to marry her, but they didn't let him because of the civil rights movement. Now, they see everybody singing and dancing. It was even a white dude in there trying to get a little brown sugar, you know what I'm saying? And so next thing you know, Hippolyta washing the dishes, talking about how Tick don't turn the dishes over. Basically, she missing Uncle George. And then we see these kids, and they playing with a Ouija board, and they don't even know that this is a haunted house even to begin with. And so they upstairs playing with a Ouija board. And for those who don't know, Ouija boards are real. Now, they are sold as like a toy or a game. And every time you use one, does something happen? No, but it can happen and they can cause a lot of problems. And so they asked, "Will I have a good time on the trip?" And the Ouija board said no. And so then they lights is flickering and they getting a little tweak out. There's about 4 or 5 kids in there. And then they said, well, who we talking to? And then it spelled out George. And then it said, is dead. And then she got mad and flipped the board over like, that ain't funny, and left. That was George's daughter. And then later we had Tick downstairs. Old Slim, he was hating, talking about yeah, I hear you staying rent free. Well, me and Letty, we used to tussle back in the day, if you know what I mean. He like, oh, don't worry, if it's yours, you better let her know. And so Tick then got bold. He mad. He went on over there. He realized he really liked her and he don't want her to get another little tussle going. And so he gone over there, grab her, take her, put her in the bathroom, pull them drawers down. He started banging it, hitting it. Next thing you know, when they was done, he had a little ketchup on his Polish. He ain't know he was going to get ketchup on his Polish, but he said, you know what, it's all right, I don't mind. And she was a little embarrassed, and so she like, I must have came on my time. And so when he left, she kind of cried and was a little embarrassed. But like he say, he like ketchup on his Polish. Meanwhile, we see that she keeps seeing ghosts in the house, and you got to keep in mind that she did die in episode 2, and so she's kind of like halfway between worlds now, where she's more in tune with the spirit world than she was before. Now Marshall Fields, the sister, she wanted to accept that the way it is the way it is, meaning segregation and all the stuff. And she talking to the people, if more black folks just thought like me, we'd be a lot better off. And that's the way of thinking of some people, that they not ready for the fight and put up with all of the stuff that goes on with it, which is understandable, but that don't mean that it's right either. And so, that's one thing that they are showing, that there was people that thought that way, though. And next thing you know, in the middle of the party, it's a big old cross burning in their yard. And they got all the car horns banging the horns again or whatever, tied up. And they wasn't doing nothing but minding their business. So what she do is get a baseball bat, go out there, break all their car windows and turn them horns off. The police come, take her to jail, okay? Not the people that did the horns or the people that burned the cross. They took her to jail. And so while she in the back of the paddy wagon, the cop asking her, who told you to move in there, and what you know about this place, this, that, and the other. And, next thing you know, she ain't saying nothing. They start driving crazy, got her getting slammed side to side in the damn paddy wagon and stuff, and it was just all messed up. And then the cops say, we found the body parts of 8 dead Negroes with a hard ER on it in the basement. And I don't think you gonna last too long down there. We'll be counting the days. And so next thing you know, we see that she go down there, and in that room she had a bunch of pictures hanging up, images that she took. And now it's like something was on the images and things. And she could see, like, she laid them down and some head popped up talking about, get out of my house. And so she got up out of there scared. And next thing you know, she was worried, putting stuff together. Her sister asking her stuff. She just slipped up talking about, don't worry, I still got money from mama's settlement. And sister like, what? Mama left you that money? You said it was from the numbers. And so sister basically said she was selfish. She should have split the money. She ain't this, she ain't that. And she thought she was helping by not saying it, because she knew sis would get mad. But sis got mad anyway, because she was bogus and greedy in a way. And so she probably left. They didn't exactly show. But then we see Montrose, and he talking to George's wife, and she telling him she don't believe what happened. And he like, look, man, this is what happened. And he didn't tell her, but she knows something is missing. And then we see Letty telling Tick the house is haunted. And he wasn't like really blown away. He like, well, tell me, what'd you think? What happened? And so she started telling him or whatever. And then she tell him that that was her first time when she was with him that she lost her virginity. He like, first time what? And she like, that was my first time. I needed to feel something. I needed you to make me feel good. And so anyway, they is all right. They still ain't talked about what happened. They kind of talked about it a little. She says she still feel like something missing, like she feel like a ghost kind of after she died. Next thing you know, we see some old voodoo lady, Badu, coming over there to purge the house of evil spirits. She didn't sacrifice a goat on the porch, blood everywhere. They go in the basement, forming this little ritual circle and lights flashing. And then while they doing that, these three white guys is breaking in the house with bats. I guess was gonna rough them up. Two of them get trapped in the room, get burned by the steam, and then the third one head get knocked off by the elevator, which almost happened to Letty. And then while all of that's going on, the two in the room is like weird little monsters, this like basketball player with a baby head coming to the baby. It was real weird and stuff. And then of course, you know, then while they doing all that, they in the basement, things going crazy. Little voodoo lady get knocked out, she passed out. Tick, he get possessed, and he over here, they got some special effects that looked actually pretty cool in his head. Down my house, down my house. And so she tripping, and they all possessed, and Letty is the only one. And so she like able to communicate with spirits that was murdered in there. And she like, you're not dead. And so then they all kind of like form a circle, and they finish the chant and basically get that evil doctor out of Tick. And because he was the one that was possessing Tick, talking about get out my house. And so because she had died, she was able to communicate and bond with those spirits, and they were all able to unite and push that doctor out of Tick and basically get rid of that evil spirit. And so while Tick later the next day is out and about, he see Christina, the rich white girl from Artem. And so he come in and close all the blinds and shades and pull out a gun and tell her, you know, hey, that money, that wasn't from Letty's mama, that was from you. And I need you to stay away from everybody. And then she like had a spell on him or something because he couldn't move. He was like stuck. And she just walked around him real calmly and was like, you know, giving him a history lesson on their family. And she's like, yeah, when you want to know more about our family, you come talk to me. And you should know, you can't go around just shooting white women, which was stupid anyway. I don't know how he thought he was going to be able to get away with something like that. And, you know, I think that what he don't realize is that he still has a place within that family because he is son amongst sons. And even she wanted to still kind of work with him somehow. He still got some type of usefulness. All right. Now it's time for real talk. I like this episode. I think it was really good. And I really love how they incorporate real history and situations into this show. I just hope that it's not lost as just TV show, because it is real, but it does have the sci-fi mixed with it. So, but anyway, I like the story. I like what's going on with Tick. That was tripped out when he got a little Polish on the hot dog. He like, hey man, I don't care. I like it. I normally get mustard, but ketchup ain't bad. Anyway, it was a good episode. This show is more and more interesting each week. I'm wondering how is it going to all turn out and what's going to happen and what role Christina's going to play. I think it's really good acting in this show and in this episode. And I think that is on the way to doing some better things. And I'm looking forward to more. Now I'm going to give it a Mosco. Now, as far as the first category, visuals and cinematography, I think that the visuals were great. I like the way that the camera work and the special effects were in this episode. It was pretty good. I like how it looked with the possession and stuff. That was kind of cool when Tick was moving around and things. And then when that man got decapitated by that elevator, they showed the blood squirting out of his neck with the head missing for about 5 seconds. They wanted us to see that special effects and to see how well they did in covering that. And so with that, I think that that was good visual cinematography overall, and I give it a 20, almost a perfect score. Storyline and plot. The storyline is interesting. The plot, I'm still trying to figure out completely. The acting is good as well. And I would give that a 20 as well. And as far as special effects and makeup, like I was saying with the visuals and cinematography, excellent as well. And I give that a score of a 20. And as far as entertainment and fun factor, I was entertained. It was a good episode. It had a couple funny moments, and it was entertaining. And I give that a 20 as well, with a total score of 80. That's a really good episode. I recommend you check out this show. I'm Jay. I'm looking forward to your comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.